Ambassador Zelthar had studied the galactic map for 3 decades, and in all that time one question haunted him. Why did every star chart in the known galaxy simply stop at the edge of human territory? The Galactic Council chamber hummed with the usual diplomatic pleasantries as representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered for the quarterly session. Zelthar's compound eyes scanned the assembly, noting the conspicuous absence in the human delegation's seats. They rarely attended anymore. They didn't need to. The humans have declined our invitation again, Council Prime Vartok announced, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's blue light into 1,000 worried fragments. For the 47th consecutive session, no one seemed surprised. The murmurs that rippled through the chamber carried an undertone of relief rather than concern. Zelthar raised his primary appendage. Council Prime, if I may. I have a question that requires addressing. The chamber fell silent. Questions about humanity were rarely asked aloud, though everyone thought them constantly. Proceed, Ambassador, Vartok said carefully. The Galactic Cartography Division released updated maps last cycle. I noticed, as I have for 30 years, that our charts show detailed information for all explored space, until they reach human boundaries. Then they simply end. Blank. Nothing. Not marked as unexplored, just absent from the map entirely. Zelthar paused, letting his words sink in. Why? The silence grew heavier. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. A few pretended to study their data tablets with sudden intensity. Finally, Elder Morthus of the Keeper Caste spoke, her ancient voice crackling through the translation matrix. You are young, Zelthar. You were not yet born during the Convergence War. I have read the histories, Elder. Humanity joined the galactic community, proved themselves in the war against the Devourer fleets, and earned their sovereignty. But that doesn't explain— You have read the edited histories, Morthus interrupted. The ones humanity allowed us to keep. A chill ran through Zelthar's nervous system. Allowed? Morthus gestured with a weathered limb toward the central holographic display. With a thought command, she pulled up an ancient star chart, one Zelthar had never seen before. It showed the galaxy as it had been mapped 2 centuries ago before human contact. This was our map before we met them. See here? She highlighted a region. 12,000 inhabited systems, spanning 40% of the galaxy. Multiple spacefaring civilizations, some older than my own species. She overlay a modern map. The ancient region was now labeled simply human space. What happened to those civilizations? Zelthar whispered. We don't know, Vartok admitted. Because we are afraid to ask. Morthus continued. When humanity first made contact, they arrived in a single vessel. Not a warship, or so we thought. It was sleek, efficient, crewed by exactly 47 beings. Their ambassador was polite, charming even. She explained that humanity controlled a modest territory and wished to establish trade relations. We accepted naturally, another elder chimed in. But our intelligence services were curious. They sent deep space reconnaissance drones into human territory. 12 drones, state-of-the-art, undetectable by any known technology. What did they find? Nothing, Morthus said flatly. They sent back telemetry for approximately 3 minutes after crossing the boundary. Then silence, all 12 simultaneously. Zelthar felt his chromatophores shift to patterns of distress. What was in those 3 minutes? Morthus manipulated the display again. Fragmentary data appeared, sensor readings that made no sense, energy signatures that violated known physics, spatial anomalies that shouldn't exist, and something else, fleet signatures. Thousands of them. No, millions. But the humans told us they only had a modest defense force, Zelthar protested. Yes, they did. Vartok's form dimmed. When we confronted them about the drones, the human ambassador seemed genuinely apologetic. She explained that their territory had automated defense protocols and that our drones had been unfortunately intercepted. She promised to return them. And did they? Yes. All 12 drones arrived back at our facilities within the hour. Completely intact. With one modification, the holo display showed an image of one of the drones. Attached to its hull was a small placard with a message in every known galactic language. Next time, please ask first. The smiley face was particularly unsettling, Morthus added dryly. Zelthar processed this. So you stopped exploring human space? We stopped trying, Vartok corrected. But others didn't listen. The Kresh Empire was powerful, prideful. They sent a full battle fleet to investigate what they called the human mystery. 3,000 warships, each capable of glassing a planet. What happened? They arrived at the human border, issued their demands for passage, and the humans complied. They granted the Kresh fleet safe passage through their territory, with only one condition: stay on the designated route, don't deviate, don't scan, don't record. Zelthar's appendages trembled. The Kresh would never agree to such terms. They didn't. They immediately broke formation and began scanning everything. Morthus pulled up another file. This is the last transmission from the Kresh flagship. Audio filled the chamber. Sounds of confusion, then alarm, then sheer terror. A Kresh commander's voice, normally confident and bellowing, reduced to a whisper. By the old dark, there are thousands of them. No, millions, billions, they're everywhere. The entire sector it's not stars. It's them. How did we not? The transmission ended. The Kresh fleet returned home exactly 3 days later, Vartok said quietly. All 3,000 ships. Not a single casualty. Every vessel fully operational. The crews were changed. They refused to speak about what they saw. The Kresh Empire now maintains the strictest non-interference policy regarding human space in the galaxy. They shuttered their entire deep space exploration program. Zelthar felt his world tilting. Why don't we demand answers? We outnumber them millions to one. Do we? Morthus asked. We've never actually seen human worlds. We've never conducted a census. We don't know how many of them there are. For all we know, the 47 humans we met that first day represent their entire species, or perhaps just their diplomatic department. During the Convergence War, Vartok added, humanity contributed exactly 100 ships to the defense fleet. We all thought it was a token gesture. Those 100 ships turned the tide of the entire war. They displayed technology we still cannot comprehend, weapons that made the Devourers flee in terror, and when we tried to thank them, tried to study their technology, they simply smiled and said, it's nothing special. Just standard equipment. Morthus fixed Zelthar with an ancient, knowing gaze. So you ask why our maps ended human space? Because humanity asked us, very politely, to not map their territory. And we agreed, because we are not fools. But what if they're a threat? Zelthar challenged. What if they're planning what? Vartok interrupted. If humanity wanted to conquer the galaxy, we would already be conquered. If they wanted our resources, they would have taken them. Instead, they trade fairly, honor their treaties, and occasionally save us from extinction-level threats. They ask for only one thing in return: privacy. The Council Prime's form solidified with finality. The human ambassador once told me something over drinks. She said, we like you, all of you. You're vibrant, diverse, fascinating. We enjoy being part of the galactic community. Then she paused, and her smile became something else, something ancient and vast and patient. She said, but never forget, Ambassador, we don't need you. You need us. Zelthar stared at the map, at the vast blank space labeled human territory, and finally understood. The map didn't end at human space because of incomplete data. It ended because some doors once opened could never be closed again. And the galaxy wisely had chosen to leave that door untouched.